identify and connect to a data source. Okay, the different data source we need to understand in this particular part, that what are the different data sources that we have. Then change data source settings, including the credentials, privacy levels, and data source location. This also we have done. Let me show you from where you can do this one. Okay, so here in file section, right, when you get into the options and settings, here is data source settings. Okay, so we added OData, we extracted some file from Kaggle and something Amazon also. So all these sources are listed here. Okay, so this these are the added permission options or clear permissions. Maybe you are an employee of some company, and or suppose you are working with Amazon and you have the credentials. So maybe you need to clear that one. Okay, and you need to edit it, because many times you update the passwords and all those things, right? Like you connected with the data sources, like the servers and all those things. So you can directly edit the permissions from here. Once we will connect with the new data, it asks us that what kind of permissions you need to give to it. Okay, or what kind of settings you want for a particular data source. So that's the thing. Let me show you what type of things it shows you. Let me select the OData that we already connected many times. We'll get into the added permission. Okay, so credentials, that is anonymous, we selected. So we'll just click on edit. This is the screen. This is the pop-up window that you find when you just use any data sources first time over here. Okay, that time it shows these kind of settings, right? So here you need to select at what kind of connections you are doing, right? So right now we connected with anonymous, where we don't need any credentials and all those things. You can connect directly with your window credentials also. If you have some username or password, you can connect directly. Or if you have the credentials, that like direct credentials, so you can connect with your current credentials. And what are the current credentials? Your PIN, your password, whatever the encryptions you have with your Windows. Okay, and second thing, that is basic. So if you have a login IDs with services.odata.org, then you can use those credentials also. Why these all options are available here? Understand that if you are working with a data which is concerns with your company, okay, so you can access that data only and only when you have the credentials to access it, right? So that's the thing. Okay, web API, you have your own website. Okay, and you just need to access the data collected or stored on your website. So these API will help you to connect with the websites. Okay, so with the websites, to connect with the website, you have API keys. That key you can use over here. Okay, just a second, give me a second. How can you hear? Sorry, one important call from a company was there. So sorry for that. So web API, these can be found from your websites also. Website provider or domain providers also gives API keys that can be used to connect with any data resources sort of things. And payment gateway uh, also gives you API to connect with your web. Okay, and then you have an organizational account. Suppose you are also the employee or using the services of odata.org. You are a member of some subscriptions and those kind of things. You can sign in using those credentials also. So this is basically the credential part that we are talking about, right? Then over here, if you want to delete this particular credentials, you can directly delete it. That now I don't want to use it. The work is completed with this particular credentials, so you can directly delete it also. Then second thing is your privacy level, right? So this will be the question in the exam also, that what are the methods that you can use for the credential access when you are connecting the database, okay, or whenever you are connecting the data sources. So that is, they will give options. It will be completely objective type, not an theoretical. Okay, so subjective type questions are not there. So there will be options, right? So they will give some options from this one and some others also, as you know. So you have to know that okay, this is a kind of connection based settings. Okay, then what are the different privacy levels that you have in your Power BI? That is publicly available, organizational. So only those who have the credentials to log in with it, they can access, right? When you click on organization, when whoever need to access the data, they need those credentials that you provided in the credential section. Okay, like just a second. So over here in credential section, whatever the credentials you have provided, those organizational need those credentials to be accessed over there. Okay, otherwise they are not able to access it. And in second case, whenever you are sharing the insights or sharing the database, or you can say sharing the dashboards to someone, that time also you can give the credentials to someone and they can only access it. Okay, so while publishing or while sharing your data, while sharing your insights, while sharing your dashboards, that time these type of privacy labels works with it, right? And then you have the private, it means just you are using this data, no one can else access this particular data. Okay, so generally as during the practices we use none, right? So that's the edit section, right? Export Power BI data sources. So export, it means all the credentials will be saved in a particular PBIDS format. Okay, whatever the data you will select, it will be saved over, right? So whenever you say that I am uninstalling and again installing my servers, so you can use that file to get all those access again. You don't need to give the credentials again and again if you have that particular file. Okay, so this is about your global permissions. One is data sources in current file. Currently we don't have any sources, we have not connected any data sources right now, or any data sets is not connected. That's why it is not showing anything. Okay, so from here those things can be edited. Let's connect one file. Let's connect a CSV file that we have, sample store, so that this option we can explore also. Okay, so let me load it. Okay, so let the data be reflected so that we can go through the, yes. Now from file again, go to the options, data source settings. Now you can see data sources in current file. This is the data source, right? So you can export it also. You can edit the permission and you can clear the permission also. Clear all permission or clear a particular permission, right? Where when it is used. Okay, let me show you that right now. If I will create a simple chart like subcategory and say the sales. Okay, so this is the chart right now. Okay, so let me move that particular data. That's not the place. Is over here, right? So if I will move this data, or let's say just rename this data as superstore. Okay, so if this is the location, okay, let me get into over there again and check is this the same location that we are using. Yes, that's the same, right? So if I will using this data again, let's say instead of sales I want to use the states. Okay, so right here it is working because it is uploaded, right? And once I will refresh my data, it says sample superstore could not find this particular file. This is the error I will get, right? And if I will get into the data, it will show you, it will work for me. And if I will using the data over here, it will work also, but it is not directly connected now. Whenever I need any relations and all those things, that time it will say me that data connection have some error. Okay, so how I can solve the data connection issue? So it is from the data source settings only, this one. So just say change the source. Okay, whenever it says change the source, you can easily browse it and say superstore. Okay, this is CSV file, remain all the other things same. You can go with the add, so you can add multiple files also. So say basic and then click OK, then close it. Now let the thing be applied. Here it is, the name is to be changed. Okay, let me refresh it. Now it is working, right? So this is the data set that is now connected. Okay, this is how you can change all these settings also. Okay, so what are the other options that we have with the local data set? So the same things, added permission. Again, you have the privacy settings only. Okay, not a particular credentials needed for this, right? So this is how this particular settings for the data sources are also available here, right? So that's the part where we have the change data source settings, including the credentials, privacy levels, and the uh, data source locations, right? So select a shared data or create a local data set. So we just uh, connected this one by OData, that is shared data. Okay, or a local data, it means the CSV files and all those things that will be loaded into it, right? So I still have the issue with my SQL, so we can't move with this one. So let me remove this, because till now we just understood the concept of direct query and import and dual mode. Let me try once also. connect with the MySQL server. If it works, then we can move on with that one also. So it's in database, MySQL database, because this MySQL is connecting with Tableau, but giving me the error into it. I'm resolving it. I need to reinstall my this Power BI, or still waiting for the update. If it will be updated, it will be corrected also. Okay, so we will look into it later on. That the import we are already working with that. The files that we directly connect or insert are known as the import function. Okay, DirectQuery, we will look into it. It is somehow a different thing, where we are not importing the data, we are just importing the information or the metadata of the data sets only. Okay, so it is somehow different thing. We will look into it. Okay, change the value of parameter, we already seen in yesterday last session. We have seen that how we can change the parameters. Just double click or filter it out. Okay.
What is dual mode?
Dual mode is whenever we are using DirectQuery and import both together. Like suppose I have this particular file, it is from direct mode or import function. Okay, and there is one more data which is connected from DirectQuery. So in both the modes I am working. Okay, the only difference in these two is that whenever I am using this import function, I have these three things. These three things, let me show you, just hold on. These three things are with me. Okay, so this particular report view, the data view, and the relation mode. Okay, these three things are with me, but whenever I am using the direct connection mode, okay, DirectQuery, that time data view is not available. Okay, so that's the only difference. And because data directly is not connected, or you can say data is directly not imported in your Power BI, it is available with your servers only. You are just importing the information to connect with it. You are just creating a relation in between the server and your Power BI so that you can access it from anywhere, or you access in Power BI. So as you can see here, we are importing the full data along with these information, right? Category, city, country, these are the information, right? So here we have the data also inside these ones. But in DirectQuery, you don't have these data inside your Power BI or connected with Power BI. It is on your server or at your connection port. Okay, so you are just putting the queries, or you are just calling the data according to these column names only. Okay, that's what is DirectQuery method. Okay, we will look into it once I will resolve the issue with the SQL. Okay, so the next thing is that we are not going with right now with the cleaning the data part. Okay, like evaluate data, we will look into it today. The evaluate data, including data statics and column properties, resolve inconsistencies, unexpected or null values, data quality issue, and resolve data import errors, and select appropriate column data types. These are the things that we need to cover today. Okay, these are very small things, so we just need to look into it, that how you can look resolve the issues and from where you can get the properties and all those things. So let's take the first part, that how to evaluate your data, including the data statics and column properties. I already shown you this thing, so let
One
me
thing is
remind
they
you.
not change the value in a parameter.
Change the value in parameter. Yes, so parameter is like the values that you have. Okay, let me revise it. Let me remove it from here. with dual query, I will take it. Okay. So that is the part when we are dealing with the parameters. Okay. Parameter is just your column names, nothing else. Okay. So I will take that time. So just changing the values, that how you can change the values into it, how to edit it. Okay. So value in parameter, it means type and all those things. When you import it, go into your transform data Power Query editor. That time you can look into it. Okay. So I will take each and every topic. Don't worry. Right. If I will forget, you are here to remind me. Right. So we will take care of each and everything. So let's get into a simplest part. Here we have this. Let me clean all these things. Okay. So now, how we can understand different things like where it is gone, the data statics and the column properties, right? So let me get back to the Power Query. Okay, from here, let's say edit query. Okay, so here is one option with you, that is the view. Okay, here you have the data preview option. Okay, monospace, we already seen this one. So it is just changing the font that works with it. Okay, so white space, it is by default be there. Okay, these are the spaces, column spaces given to it. Okay, column quality, that's what we are talking about. So whenever I will click on it, it will show me that what is the valid, how much valid data you have, right? How much error is there, how many empty columns are also there. Okay, so do we have anything different from it rather than 100%? Else we will import some other data also, so that some informative things will be there. No, nothing is there. So let's go back to Power BI and get a data, say a CSV file. Let me check. Do we have something like that? Just a second. From star schema, maybe from that file we have that one now. So let's take from the access file, the access data. Open it. Let me import it one. So let me select these all. Okay. Load the data. So we have multiple options now that we can check the validity and the quality of our data. We will find, is there something different or having some errors and all those things. Okay, so it identifies that a particular pattern is there in your column data. Okay, if that pattern is not followed with some other numbers or that kind of thing, that time it reflects that yes, you have some errors into it. Okay, let's refresh it. This is your source file. Okay, so let's click on this one. So sample superstore, you don't have anything like different. So here also it's all same in dates. Let's check, is there something different? The data set is big one, so it takes time sometimes. Or in someone else, we are having this one. No, all data is clean and validated. Here you can see sales query, right? So here it is not getting the details, right? Some value sort of thing or the thing which is not identified by Power BI easily. Okay, so here it is giving you error, that is 100%. Okay, in the sales column, let's check. So here also the data is clean. So the last one, it is finding out if anything different available here. So hope you understood what the thing it is at finding out. Okay, so sales query again, it is not identified that what type of details are available over here, so it gives you error 100%, right? So let me remove this column quality. Okay, so with column distribution, when you select this column distribution, it shows you the different details about it. So 100% distinct value are available here. Okay, so in order ID, as you can see, 479 distinct values are available and 226 unique values are available. Okay, it means that 479 different values are available in your data that have a multiple values. Okay, like if some details have a duplicate values, like here it is duplicate CA 2014 like 12 in the last, so it is said to be multiple things or a duplicate values. If I talk about this one 688, it is a unique value. Okay, so unique and distinct, you have to identify these two things. If only one value is there in complete data, then it is unique. If any value have duplicate values also, that is distinct. So those values that have a duplicate values also, that is 479, but 226 are like they have a unique single value only. Okay, so similarly in order dates, ship date, ship mode, right? As you can see in ship mode, there is no unique values because all those four values, like in ship mode, if I will look into here, first class, same day, second class, and standard class, these are getting repeated. Okay, so customer ID I have like this one. So these are known as the distribution. You can find easily that how distinct and how much unique things are available in my data, right? So you can see into your sales also. 901 sales are like those are repeated. Okay, but 831 sales are also there that doesn't have any repeated values, right? From here directly you can click on remove duplicates. Like let's say the sales over here and check what is the column distribution available here. So 976 unique terms are there. I can move on here. I can see the list. Okay.
If
Yeah.
if we just want to see the records which has duplicate values, like if there is a duplicate and the field should not have duplicate, so we want to kind of analyze and see which are these records which has duplicate values. Can we do
Definitely we can distinguish that thing also by using a DAX functions. Just like SQL, you can put the functions here to just sort your data according to the duplicate and no duplicate values. Okay. You have some direct queries also. We will look into it later, that how to differentiate, or how we can separate these two type of things. Okay. Here, from this particular condition, you can just remove the duplicate, nothing else. Okay. So if I remove the duplicate values, now you can see all the 1000 are distinct and 1000 are unique values. So here just the 1000 rows are to be displayed, because in the bottom, as you can see, there are 10 columns and 999 plus rows available. Column proofing based on top 1000 rows only. Okay, in the bottom, as you can see, right? So with the 1001, now you can see there are no unique values. Okay, it says all are distinct now. Okay, so here you have, so you can work with this one, and you can say remove the duplicates of this also. Okay, so to remove the duplicate value, you can use this particular thing, that is your column distribution. One more thing is there that you can use for your particular detailing of your data, that is your column profile. Okay, if I will select this column profile, let me select it. Yes, if I will select the column profile, the column that I am selecting. Okay, like let's say the order dates. Okay, so with order dates, it will create a bar chart for me for each and every day, right? And what is the total number of count, how many times this particular value is coming. Okay, what is the error, how many empty columns cells are there, distinct values are there, unique values, minimum value, maximum, and the average. Okay, let's take one customer ID sort of thing. So it will give you it will sort your data according to alphabet order. Okay, so the very first thing comes with A and ends with Z. That's why. Okay, so let's take some parameter sort of thing, numeric values. Let's see if I will talk about the sales. Now you can see what are the different values it is giving you, like total count, distinct value, unique value, null value, zeros are there, minimum value, maximum value. Okay, the average, the standard deviation. So you can find these kind of details with it, right? So you don't need to calculate these things. Power BI gives you it in your column profile. Okay, so these are the different things that we have, you can work with, and these are used for your basic data understanding. Okay, you can create or you can edit, you can clean according to these details that are visible in the view section. Okay, so this is the one that is available with include data statics and column properties. These are the only thing that appears in exam also. Okay, so these are the basic conditions. So inconsistencies, unexpected or null values, data quality issues, so these are all resolved, as I shown you, the remove duplicate also. Whenever if you have the error, it will show you to remove the column having the error. Okay, so these things are also connected with it, right? This particular issue, resolve data import error. This is an important one, and right now we can't take it because we don't have any error right with us. I will create a data for you that having some errors, so that you will understand whenever you are getting some these kind of errors, what we can do. As you know, I am also facing an issue with connection of SQL. That is again one error, right? So how we can edit that one? We will look. This one in get data from data sources, two things are there. Clean the data. Let me make it red. So clean the data. We have one. Transform and load data. Two things only just we done. Okay. So one thing quickly we will look into it because it's not a calculative thing. So select appropriate column data types over here in Power Query Editor only. Okay. As you can see now, most of the things that are in transform and load the data, most of the things will be done in Power Query Editor. Okay. Over here, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, ABC, this particular calendar, ABC, these are your data types. What you can do, you can change these data types. Like just click on it and all the list of different data types will be in front of you. Okay. If I want to change it into text format, it is right now in 1, 2, 3, that is whole number. I just want to convert into text. I will just select this one. Okay. And I will say replace the current. So you can see the data is now converted into string type, or you can say character type, right? And in the right side, you can see there is a change type in applied steps also. If I will cancel it, it will be back to the previous one. Okay. ABC, let's say it is of whole number. It will show me again. Okay. I need to refresh if I change the data type, right? So this is how you can change the data types also. Here you can see this order date. Okay. This order date is in ABC, or all the data is now in ABC. As I cancel this one, right? Promoted header, I need to cancel it also, right? So now the header is also not there. So I will select it, or in transform data, I can say use first row as header. As soon as I converted the column into header, you can see there is a change type. So all the data types are also automatically assigned. By default, how you can change, click on this symbol and you find all the databases here, all the data types here. Okay. And you can change whatever you like to use in your requirement. Okay. So this is how you can change the data type. Whenever in between your working also, in between your analysis also, you can change your data types. And just click on apply button. It will be updated into your data set also. Okay. It is now updated also in your database here, right? So this is what about selecting the appropriate column data types. You have to understand what is a particular data set is of type, like it is of numeric type, it is of date and column type, it is of date and time type. Okay. So you need to understand, as we have the sales, right? Just hold on. After close and apply, can it be undone? Yes, definitely it can. Go over here and say transform data on the top, or either right click on your any data and say edit query. Okay. While you are editing the query, From here you can change it. Okay, you can change it again as many times as you want. You can change your data type. Okay, and as many times you want, you can change or you can transform the data by coming into your editor section. Okay, so that's the thing, right? Now these are the only thing that we are covering today, right? So let's say yellow. So tomorrow we are going to cover create and transform the columns, right? Transform a query to another place, okay? And how you can change the queries, right? So that thing we will do. Identify when to use reference or duplicate queries and the resulting impact. Okay, we will look into this one also. In applied steps, you remove, then you will get back to same data. Definitely, Keshav. If you will see over here, if some data like sample superstore, there are these three things, right? If I cancel the promoted header in between it, right? So just say delete. So as you know, first thing is gone. The column row ID of the table won't be found, right? So you can cancel this one also. Now you can see you are on your first step, that is your source. Now you can do anything with it, right? You can get into change your first row. If I will say the order date, right click on it, duplicate the column. Many things are there. Let me remove it just once. Okay, and let's change the data type to the text, right? So multiple things are done. If I will say I don't want to remove this column, by mistake I done that one, I will just cross this query and say delete this query, and you can say the order date is back. Okay, and one more thing, if you will click on source, you can find your base data. Okay, and this particular source also, if you will double click on it. Okay, so promoted headers, you can check what the steps you have done, right? So this in this way. Okay, you have some unchanged, not now. Fine. So tomorrow we are concluding the create and transform column and transform a query, identify when to use reference or duplicate queries and the resulting effect. Okay, so that we have few 3 points remaining that we need to cover with get data from data sources and the clean the data, right? And basically these are the prepare the data part. So we need to understand it, because if you are not going to prepare your data, you don't know how to treat your data, how to clean your data, how to transform your data, then it will give you a fake, or you can say a wrong insights from the data, because you are not having the proper data, structured data you don't have, right? That's why we have a particular focus on this particular part, and then 25 to 30% only. But in actual projects, this particular part, clean the data and transform the data, consumes approx 50 to 60% time of yours. Okay, so we need to understand each and every point of it, because after this, approx 3 to 4 points will be covered in a single day, right? Because we are going to use multiple things all together when we are creating the charts, creating the dashboards, using the DAX functions, all together will be there. Because after this one, we are going to use a project-based learning. So that project will cover maximum things out of it. Okay. So we are just identifying what are the topics we have covered, not going with this one, but we will, of course, need to clear the exam also. Okay, so now you understood that what are the different things we already covered. So that's it for today.